back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with local rockstar realtor Michelle Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. And of course, here we are. It's already February. Can you believe it's February?
I know.
I mean, we're a couple weeks in, basically. It doesn't feel right.
Valentine's coming up on Tuesday.
Well, when you're married to me, every day is Valentine's Day. So,
Oh, I bet you that's the way Kelly feels.
sure, let's go with that. If she's listening right now, she's throwing stuff at the radio. You liar!
No plans on Valentine.
It was like the other day, because Kelly, my realtor found us this great house with this hot tub. You may
Your
know her.
rock star realtor.
My rock star realtor. And I'll tell you one thing. A lot of people say that wears off in time. My wife, I said the other day, I go, I'm not sure Mom loves the hot tub more than us to the kids. I said, but she loves the hot tub as much as she loves the family.
She loves the family in the hot tub.
Yes.
Right? All enjoying it together.
Yeah, sure.
Family time around the hot tub.
No. She goes out there and the cat runs around the hot tub and she's just like, and many of us come out, she's like, oh, you're ruining my quiet time.
See, so many people don't think they want a hot tub. And then once they actually have it, they enjoy
Some people
it.
do. Like I hear kind of 50-50. Some people go the shine wears off after a while and, trying to get the water chemicals right and stuff. And it's all alchemy to me. I don't know how I've kept it right so far, but I've done okay. But
don't you just have to do the genie little thing and then boom, it's done for you?
I'm the pool boy, so my wife will go, I think it needs more chlorine, or I think you need to do this. It needs cleaning. And I'm like, okay. And I go, and I'm like, and I do use it quite a bit still too, but I don't use it like Kelly uses it religiously almost every night.
Oh, it's so good for you.
Yeah, she does love it. So yeah, she's that. As long as she's got her hot tub, she doesn't have to worry about me and Valentine's Day because she's she loves the hot tub as much as she loves me. So
that's the one thing we are adding. We have a sauna in our cabin at Sasquatch, but we're adding a hot tub this year, so we should have them by the summer.
Oh, that's perfect, especially when you have snow and you can roll around the snow and jump back in the hot tub.
So fun! I can't wait. I can't wait. And then Super Bowl Sunday is tomorrow, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Didn't even think of that. Well, I don't have any open houses tomorrow, so that's okay. No open houses this weekend for myself.
You got to pick for the winner. I mean, you're American by birth, so you must know football, is what I figure.
Okay, so another brother-in-law of mine, Justin, that's Heidi's my youngest. We call her number 8. Her guy.
You just go by numbers in your family?
We do. Yeah. I'm number 5. We call each other by numbers. It's easier that way.
You're the middle child. Well, one of several middle children, I guess. So
yeah.
You can't really have a middle child when there's that many of you.
When there's 8, it's really kind of awkward because there's one, you're either the beginning of the last 4 or you're the end of the first 4, right? But no, he bets online. There's this betting of some sort.
All
and
kinds.
I don't know. He won some good amount of money the other day. I think it was a couple weeks ago now. I don't know what game it was because I just haven't been watching sports in so long. Are you betting?
No, I can't bet on sports. I never win. It's part of being a lifelong Canuck fan, I think. It just, it just works against you. But if I was a betting man, even though I know a lot of people are saying it'll go the other way to the Rams, I think Mahomes is going to pull it out. He's just too good.
Okay.
So I'm going with...
How much money do you want to bet on that?
Oh, I got a toonie in my pocket, I think.
As long as it's not a penny.
That's right.
Since there's no pennies in Canada.
That's right. I'm going Kansas City. So it means you should probably not bet on Kansas City, anybody that's listening right now.
It's like horse races. Like, do the opposite than what he says.
Do the opposite of what I say. You'll be much better off.
So we have, continuing on with the Canada real estate homeowners, the barometer report from RE/MAX.
Mm-hmm.
That's this year. So, so the loan to value ratios we were talking about, so they had declined in 67% of markets. So that's over the past decade, with the greatest drops noted in London and Moncton. That's 21%. Halifax was 15%. Hamilton was 14%. Toronto, 10%. And Ottawa was 9%. So 4 markets, including Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatoon, and Regina, were up over 2012 levels. A trend that is set to reverse in the years ahead as Alberta and Saskatchewan's economic engines gain momentum and drive home buying activity. The lowest loan-to-value ratios were found in the most expensive markets, including Vancouver, 50%, Toronto 53%, and Hamilton 54%, while the highest loan-to-value ratios were found in Regina at 88% and Edmonton at 83%. Nationally, loan-to-value ratios hovered at 57%. So while challenges certainly exist in today's high interest rate environment, risk factors for the overall housing market are greatly reduced when homeowners own a larger proportion of their homes. And this is from Christopher Alexander, our president at RE/MAX Canada. He says, with half of loan-to-value ratios within the 50 and 60% range in Canadian markets, homeowners are better able to withstand downward pressure on housing values, and fewer will find themselves underwater carrying upside-down loans. So 3 factors were largely responsible for the downward pressure on loan-to-value ratios over the past decade, according to the Canada Housing Barometer report. Equity gains, the pandemic facilitating the ability to work remotely in smaller markets, and the transfer of intergenerational wealth, particularly in the latter half of the last decade and the early 2020s. Government implemented measures to reduce risks to the country's housing markets, including the much maligned stress tests, have also gone a long way in maintaining the overall health of the Canadian market. And that is explained by Elton Ash, our Executive Vice President at RE/MAX Canada. The housing market in Canada has a reputation for stability relative to other international markets, and prudent policy plays a substantial role. Canadian buyers are much better qualified than a decade ago as a result of that, according to the RE/MAX report. And a recent CMHC Equifax Canada report confirmed a significant reduction in the number of buyers with the credit scores under 660 in the past decade. Nationally, that number fell to 4.7% in the third quarter of 2022, down from 8% a decade earlier. So Ottawa at 3.9% had the lowest share of new mortgage holders with credit scores below 660, while Winnipeg had the highest at 6.4%. The loan-to-value ratio in all markets was down from a decade ago levels. Mortgage delinquency rates have also fallen in most markets across the country, with the national percentage sitting at just 0.14%, down just over 63% from levels reported in 2012. The lowest rates can be found in Ontario and British Columbia, where the delinquency rates are below 0.08. So rapid population growth was identified as a primary catalyst in driving home buying activity over the past decade, with the quarterly population estimate rising 12.1% nationally from the third quarter of 2012 to the third quarter of 2022. Interest rates also played a starring role over the 10-year period, with the overnight rate dropping to 0.25% in May of 2009 and maintaining relatively low levels throughout the 2010s, climbing in 2018 and 2019 only to fall again to 0.25% in 2020. So population growth is expected to continue in the years ahead, given the federal government's commitment to increase immigration levels, but interest rates will likely remain relatively high in the foreseeable future, which should temper home buying activity to some extent, particularly in the first half of the year. So for 2023, there are likely to be challenges, but a healthy number of home buyers are expected to continue to enter into our country's housing markets from coast to coast. The trend toward smaller markets should continue to play out in Atlantic Canada, Ontario and Western Canada, areas where immigration from more expensive markets has occurred recently. Major centers in Alberta and Saskatchewan are expected to see strong growth in the year ahead as provincial economics continues and to operate on all cylinders. However, there could be some tough times ahead for larger markets that are seeing an uptick in overextended buyers, as well as increased financial hardships for parents who help their kids into home ownership by taking out home equity line of credit. So those are HELOCs. While most chartered banks are typically willing to work with the homeowners in distress situations, buyers that chose to work with private lenders are having a different experience, as evidenced in recent stories in the media. While overall risk to the Canadian housing market remains low, risk mitigation remains top of mind for regulators. Given the real estate's impact on Canadian economy, the sector has accounted for 10 to 17% of GDP in recent years. The government's stress test is among the additional measures aimed at reinforcing the country's real estate market going forward. While still in development, it would look at addressing three key factors: mortgage size and debt load, new debt service ratios, plus a new interest rate stress test. Given the success of the stress test to date, it's clear some constraints can prove invaluable. That being said, further measures that would make it increasingly difficult for Canadians to realize home ownership, while well-intentioned, may potentially cause more harm than good. At the end of the day, what's evident by the loan-to-value ratios and by policies to discourage speculation and overextension is that real estate is and will always be a long-term hold. The Canadian Housing Barometer report shows that most purchasers are aligned with the philosophy as demonstrated by their tendency to get into the market and hold steady. Savvy homebuyers and homeowners are looking to offset carrying costs by reducing their footprint, choosing smaller homes, as reported in Ottawa, or renting out basement suites in their homes, a trend noted across the board, but especially apparent in London and Saskatoon. Some buyers are purchasing duplexes and other multi-unit properties and living in one of the units. Multi-generational sales are also happening with increasing frequency across Canada, whereby 2 or 3 generations live together. This trend was strong in Toronto's region, as well as in Winnipeg and Saskatoon. And so the bottom line is that the dream and desire for home ownership is unmistakable. The mechanisms in place to underpin stability are working, and although more challenging conditions in 2023 may cause some to temporarily take pause, the longer-term outlook remains positive. Once the Bank of Canada has signaled that it is done with quantitative tightening, the market is expected to return to more normal levels of home buying activity overall. And it is a balanced market here locally in the Fraser Valley. So that is the report from RE/MAX Canada.
Interesting.
Yeah. And on that note, I just wanted to end our show with a beautiful, amazing, cool new listing that's coming up on Monday.
All right. What do you got?
Do that? Okay, perfect. It's a rancher, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom corner end unit. It has double side-by-side garage and double front side-by-side parking. It's so beautiful. It's updated. It's renovated. It's in a complex called Eagle Crest in West Abbotsford. It's for sale, as I said, Monday. The unit number is 24. It's at 3293 Fir Hill Drive. And the price is only $585,000. And my drone video, the cinematography walkthrough video, photos, floor plan, all will be available on Monday. So contact me or check out my social media or email me regarding that if you'd like. Oh, and the quote to end this week on is, if you don't run, remember I'm going to...
We were talking about running. Look at that. Look at you tying everything together.
See? If you don't run, you never know how far you can go.
It's very true. Got to learn to walk before you can run.
I'm glad I figured out the walking part, now the running part.
I haven't. I'm still pretty clumsy even at my age. All right. If people want more information about your listing that you were just talking about or anything else you have going on your website, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.